Welcome to the Double Blonde Brokers podcast. With this podcast, our hope is that clients and friends alike can learn something. With each episode, we make light of the complexity of health insurance by offering tips, tricks, vocab lessons, and even sharing stories of our experiences as brokers. New episodes launch every Wednesday.
We have episode 7 of our Double Blonde Broker podcast. And I'm Suzanne O'Connor. With me today is Emily Keaton. And we're continuing our conversation with Sherri Miller, who is with our organization as far as our Medicare specialist. So today, what we're going to do is continue on with our conversation about special enrollment periods for people. And we discussed last time how due to DSNPs or Medicaid or low-income subsidy, all sorts of things, sometimes there are special enrollment periods, but there's more than that. So just to kind of recap a little bit, Emily's going to tell us about the normal ones in a very short thing about AEP and OEP, and then we're going to kind of break down some of the other special enrollment periods that are offered throughout the year for people. So Emily, tell us a little bit again about what AEP, OEP.
Yep. So we have quite a few enrollment periods when you start Medicare, and everybody always wants to make sure that they know these, that they don't miss the deadlines. And so really kind of the biggest one is when you first turn 65 or you first become eligible for Medicare. It could be out of disability, not necessarily that you are 65. This is called the initial enrollment period. So initial time that you can enroll, IEP. Then we have
initials.
Yeah, then we have AEP. They're all the same basically, except for the first initial. AEP is the annual enrollment period, happens every year, and it is October through December, and you get to, at that time, decide if you want to change your plan with Advantage plans and prescription drug plans. You can also enroll for the first time if you missed a deadline previously, then now you can also enroll then too. And then the last one is OEP, which is the open enrollment period. And this is actually at the beginning of the year, January through March. And this is a time to drop those Advantage plans, go back to original Medicare if you want to. So lots of different periods. Those are the ones that kind of always stay the same. And then special enrollments, we'll talk about more here and how there's so many different things that you can use to enroll at other times or make changes at other times.
Right. So for sure, what we can establish is that the EP on anything stands for enrollment period, right?
Yes, that is consistent.
That is consistent with everything. Okay. So now we're going to talk about SEP, and that's special enrollment period. So why don't you tell us a little bit, Sherri, about one that maybe not too many people know about, which is the 5-star special enrollment period.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about this one. Even people in the insurance industry are like, wait, well, there's a 5-star SEP. So every single Medicare Advantage plan is assessed a star rating, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. And there's many different factors that go into that. But what's really great is if the federal government deems that a specific plan is at the top rating of a 5-star plan, then there are some benefits to that. It's not just about funding, but it opens up a special enrollment period for that carrier. So essentially what that means is if there's a 5-star Medicare Advantage plan in your local market, then anytime between December 8th and November 30th, you can enroll in that plan one time. So if you're in a plan you don't like, or you need an opportunity to join a plan, maybe you missed a window, that could be a good opportunity for you. And again, it's hitting that highest 5-star category, which means that the plan is running really well, and the federal government has deemed that they are at the highest rating, which is great.
Right. All right, very good. So keep that in mind. The other thing might be for special enrollment periods, and this is very similar to what people may have had experience under 65. Where you have special enrollment periods because people move out of the area. So now doctors are no longer in network because things are network driven. That might be a reason for a special enrollment period, moving. The other one could possibly be at that time of leaving an employer insurance, right? You've been covered. But now there's certain little things that have to be also when you stay with your insurance, you're still working and you don't move to Medicare right away, right? And so you're past your 65 mark. Now all of a sudden, you've decided to finally retire, and now you're going to be leaving that work insurance. So Emily, tell us a little bit about how that works.
There's a little bit of extra documentation, basically, is what that is a letter from your employer stating that you did have credible coverage while you were Medicare eligible. And so you decided not to join Medicare because you were still getting it through an employer. And really, the reason that we do this is so that you can avoid the late enrollment penalties. You're not subject to those as long as you've had credible coverage this whole time. So it's very important to get that form uh, submitted when you're applying for your Medicare to start so you don't have penalties.
Right. Yes, we don't like penalties. No, but the government likes to give them. That's for sure. Okay, so now we have some other things. And Sherri, tell us a little bit about some of those natural disaster special enrollments. One of your favorites.
Yeah, I love it because it's so unique and it's something that we haven't had in the market, honestly, until just a few years ago. Now it's becoming a very common thing. So essentially, the federal government will issue a temporary special enrollment period for a specific area that is experiencing something that everybody's affected by that maybe held them back from making those decisions. What we're seeing the most of right now is due to disaster and due to weather, right? So it can be tornadoes, it can be flooding, it can be landslides. There's so much going, hurricanes. That's obviously we're getting into hurricane season. Sometimes it's for other things. I know in certain states I've seen gun violence, sadly, but there's, it's for different reasons. It's updated consistently, but they're all over the country. They're updated. So if you ever are looking for an enrollment period and you really need to get signed up throughout the year, again, find your local broker because they can dig up a list of what those are and help you dig into, do I even have a special enrollment period and what are they? Because we don't have enough time in the day to talk about all of the different special enrollment periods, right? We're just talking about ones that maybe people don't know about.
And the funny thing is, we could be having a drought special enrollment period, and by the time it finally gets on, and like that's what's happening in Missouri, and now we're in the flooding zone. We've had so much rain to make up, but we're still in the drought special enrollment period. So
that's the Midwest, Suzanne. The weather is just always changing.
Changes every day. Sometimes people are a little hesitant to, like, what should I sign up for? What are their options if a person has, Emily, I'll let you take the first one. Let's just say you have a supplement and a Part D, and maybe now you've decided that you just, this is just not going to work out for your budget. What happens for you to go to a less expensive plan?
Yeah, absolutely. You can always drop your supplement plan if you want to and your drug plan and switch to a Medicare Advantage plan. And the time to do that is during the annual enrollment period. So that's the AEP that we were talking about. You can drop those plans and switch to Advantage every year at that time if you want to.
Guaranteed issue. No problem. Okay. And Sherri, tell us a little bit. What if you had the other situation? You were on Medicare Advantage and all of a sudden you're like, I don't know that this was the right choice.
Yeah, well, the honest answer is every state kind of varies. So every state has different rules. Sometimes you can make decisions based off of anniversary rules or birthday rules. Some states have guaranteed issue. So I would say because it's a variety, the most important thing is finding somebody that you can trust so they can look at your specific situation, because there are different trial periods. There are different ways that we can look at the market and see what your specific options are. So there's so much flexibility with these enrollment periods. So I think the key to that is reaching out to a trusted source, your local broker, so that they can look at your specific situation, the state in which you reside, and then say, okay, here's option A, B, C, or if we don't have an option today, here's the time frame when we do.
Or just wait for a drought, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll wait for the next weather disaster.
Natural disaster.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
We'll talk in another month, or
yeah,
when it starts snowing, whatever's on.
There's something we'll be able to fix.
Always something.
All right, so we're going to close out this one on the special enrollment periods. And next time, we're going to be talking a little bit about really who are your brokers here, your double blind brokers and specialists, and kind of how we got into the business a little bit, and a little bit to know more about us and what we do and why we do it.
If you liked what you heard or learned something new, then feel free to give us a like and a follow. Also, don't be afraid to share us with a friend or write us a review, and you can follow us on all social media platforms. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as @DoubleBlondeBrokers. You can also send us an email to doubleblondebrokers@gmail.com if you have any suggestions for future episodes or would like to use us as your brokers. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you next time.